Hello YouTube and welcome back to Psychology Everyday Day 175. As you can see, I have this insane setup with two different cameras. How great is this? And it took quite some time to actually get it ordered or set up, because I had to raise the phone camera that I'm looking into right now because I have a horrible double chin and I need to never ever shave my beard ever again. Today we are celebrating 3,000 subscribers, which is just super duper mega amazing. As you can see in the camera, it's at 2991 now, but probably as I finish recording this video, if it's the length that I think it might be, then maybe it will be at 3,000. We will certainly be it when you watch this, because it's been another heck of a long day and I won't be able to record before 3 tomorrow, which is the time when I release videos. For the 3,000 subscriber video, I wanted to do a demonstration and a guide where I show you how to use AI and the cube method to study extremely efficiently. I tried to draw the cube method and that did not work out at all. As you can see in the camera there, it is extremely sort of confusing actually, but if you cube the number 3, see here, 3 head topics, you get 27 at the end. So I use this method, I get some main topics and then some subtopics and then some questions. Because usually when you study university courses, you have a course syllabus and you have old exam questions. Now some people may ask, but isn't using AI cheating? And to those people I say, absolutely fucking not. The old method of, being sort of unprepared for exams and just hoping that you read the right thing in the books is so stupid and bad. This is not a treasure hunt. It's not. I'm not Sherlock Holmes. I hate escape rooms. We're just trying to learn as much as we possibly can, as fast as we can. And using this method with AI will guarantee that you do that. And some people will ask sort of, oh, but aren't you supposed to, process it? That comes after you understand the thing. Just having this sort of mad chase in shitty academic books, trying to, find answers to questions that you don't even know, is a monumental waste of time. And if you use this method, not only will you learn much faster and have a lot more fun and not be in this sort of hellscape of trying to find answers, you will understand the subject better. Because if you do this before a course and then you go to the sort of lectures and you think about all of the stuff, you're gonna understand the subject so much more. I think a huge problem is that, not only are teachers stuck in their old ways, but since they understand the subject, it is much more obvious to them to teach in this way. They think it's interactive, but it's really just super annoying. And I, as a psychology student, could just throw 15, theories or evidence claims to support this. But whatever. So let's get started. I have prepared. I am currently studying sort of work ethic and professionalism around clinical psychology, but since we're doing this in English, I find it to be sort of pointless to run it in ChatGPT and have it all translated, because then I'm just going to confuse myself. And I saw something actually about not using AI or whatever. And here's the thing, right? it's not cheating if you use it to actually learn. Cheating means breaking the rules. So, you know, slipping secret papers when you write exams or using AI to write your papers for you, that is cheating. But using AI to learn is just like using a calculator to do math, or a car when you drive a rally and you try to win. Using a car in a foot race is cheating. This is not. So what we're going to do is actually, you know, I love Jungian psychology, and we're going to test it out on the AIQ method. I have prepared, but I'm going to show you sort of a course syllabus and exam questions, and I made these, so if you want to study or learn about a subject, you can make your own course syllabus and exam questions using ChatGPT. And what I did was just write, I'm going to make a YouTube video about Jungian psychology, and it should be about the top 3 names that is not Jung himself, and then I explained the cube method and I asked it to do all of the main topics, subjects, and 27 questions. So this fits perfectly into the cube method, but you can use any sort of subject or topic in this manner, and maybe it will be like 3, 7, and then 44 questions or whatever, but I like when it's the same numbers, because then it's a lot easier to actually remember, because you do have to memorize certain things, which is a lot easier if you know the answer is 3. So let's look into it. I'm gonna move this over to ChatGPT. Here we go. So we have the course syllabus and the exam questions, and I didn't actually copy the course syllabus. What is going on? There is the exam questions, and usually you can just download old exams, and here we go. I prepared this earlier. Here we go. Course syllabus, blah blah. Here we go. Copy, paste, save, close this, and let's see, where was I? New chat. And then we're gonna write some stuff. Hello, ChatGPT. I'm taking this course in Jungian psychology. Can you make it so that I get 3 main topics, 3 subtopics for each main topic, and can you look at the exam questions and see what fits where? Thank you so much. Perfect, Richard. I've lined up so you can study using your cube method, which it knows about because I talked about it earlier. 3 main topics, 3 subtopics each, 3 exam questions per subtopic. I matched the syllabus focus with the actual exam questions. Here is the full structures. Main topic 1, Marie-Louise von Franz. Main topic 2, Eric Newman. And main topic 3, James Hillman. So what we're actually going to do is I like to write everything by hand, because then I actually learn it so much faster. And let's see if I can do this in a good and smooth way and not sort of drop my entire camera in the floor, but here we go. Here we go. Marie-Louise von France. Let's actually, can I use an entire paper for each person? That would be so nice. Eric Neumann, perhaps that is his name. And then there is James Hillman. I know it's probably Hillman. Then we're gonna do the subtopics, and for Marie-Louise von France we're gonna write, let's see, I'm gonna put this back here. Subtopic A, fairy tales as psychology. I just write fairy tales. And then it is alchemy and transformation. And then it is the feminine archetype. The feminine archetype. So here we have our main topic, and here we have our subtopics, and then we're gonna have 3 questions for each subtopic. And we're probably gonna need a lot more room than that. And by the way, we're actually learning this for the first time together, so how good, how nice is this? We get to learn, oh shit, holy moly. We get to learn about studying using AI as well as some deep cutting Jungian psychology. It doesn't get any better than this. Holy moly. Okay, let's do it for Eric Neumann. We have the main topic. And then we have evolution consciousness. And then we have the Great Mother, which I have heard about before. And by the way, I know, everyone knows, that in a lot of subjects, ChatGPT is not completely reliable. But guess what? Neither are humans. And of course, we're gonna continue to study normally as well, go to lectures, perhaps read a book or two, but we do this first to sort of kickstart and make a structure. And I swear to you, this is so effective. A lot of people ask me, like, how are you able to do so much and learn so much? And I honestly just answer that I'm a genius. But the, real answer is that I study efficiently. So, subtopic C of Eric Neumann, archetypes and culture. And then we have our last guy. Main topic number 3, James Hillman. I've actually never heard of him before. Archetypal psychology. Myth, soul, imagination. I usually cut out the filler words because they're just confusing. Especially, I'm learning how to do tarot cards at the moment, and everything starts with the. So making abbreviations, which I'm going to teach you about in a second, becomes impossible or, you know, stupid. And the last subtopic, number 9, is critiques and legacy. So here we go. Now we're going to get to abbreviations, which is a very important part, and I'm going to switch over the camera here to my sort of maybe. So let's start with, this is so difficult, this is so much more difficult than I thought. Let's start with the main topics, of course. We have Marie-Louise von Franz, Eric Neumann, and James Hillman. Abbreviations makes everything so much easier, and we're just gonna abbreviate their names. Let's see. Here we are. May. And then we're gonna abbreviate the subtopics. Nope, we are on James Hillman. Let's see. So what we did was we wrote fairy tales, alchemy, and then it's the feminine archetype, and we're gonna do that F-A-F. Well, F. The last F is for feminine archetype. Then we have main topic number 2, which is Eric Neumann, and we had evolution of consciousness, the great mother, archetypes and culture. I'm going to do that as a C. Let's see. Yeah, because the first A there in A is actually alchemy. Great mother, culture, and then we have James Hillman, and here we have archetypal psychology, myth, soul and imaginations, and then we have critiques and legacy. And what you do now is you try to remember as much as possible without looking at anything. So the main topics, we have M-E-J, Marie-Louise von Franz, Eric Neumann, and James Hillman. Check! Ding, 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 ding! Yes! And this is called top-down learning. And what we're doing is we're starting at the top, and then we're working our way down. There's also bottom-up learning, which is what we're going to do with the quiz questions later. And then I'm going to read it. Fairy tales, alchemy and something, feminine archetypes, evolution of consciousness, the great mother, can't do that one, archetypes and culture, archetypes, archetypal psychology, myth, soul and imaginations, critique and legacy. So let's do it again and see if we can sort of remember it. And this sort of structure building and getting the topics, you know, on board in your head, it's so nice to do at the beginning of a course or even before it actually. So here we go again. Fairy tales, alchemy and transformation, feminine archetypes, evolution of consciousness, great mother, culture, something with culture, archetypes and culture, I guess, archetypal psychology, myth, soul and imagination, and critique and legacy. Yes! We pass, okay? Nice. And then the next thing is trying to remember everything without looking at the abbreviations. And usually when I study, this is the first part. Then I'm done for today. But since we're doing 3,000 subscribers, let's try and push ourselves. We're at 20 minutes now. Let's make it an hour and just see how far we can actually reach using this method. And let's impress ourselves. For the record, I don't know a whole lot about these three. I just know that Marie-Louise von France is a genius and that she knew a lot about relationships. I know Eric Neumann wrote The Great Mother, and I've never heard of James Hillman before. Okay, FAF. FAF, EGC, AMC. AMC is easy, that is something. FAF, EGC, AMC. FAF, EGC, AMC. Fairy tales, alchemy and transformation, feminine archetypes, evolution of consciousness, Great Mother, archetypes and culture, archetypal psychology, myth, soul and imagination, critiques and legacy. Let's see. Archetypes and culture. The feminine archetype. Yes. Nice. Nice. Okay, one more time. Fairy tales, alchemy and transformation, feminine archetypes, evolution of consciousness, Great Mother, archetypes and culture, archetypal psychology, myth, soul, imagination, and then critiques and legacy. Nice. Nice. We got it. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. And I'm not going to write all of this now. We're just going to use this sort of look at the... Can you give me all of 9 questions for Marie-Louise von France? Absolutely. Here are the 9 exam-focused questions for Marie-Louise von France, neatly grouped into 3 subtopics. How fitting. Fairy tales as psychology. Why did von France consider fairy tales the purest expression of the collective unconscious? Nice. Compare von France's use of fairy tales with Jung's use of myths. How do they overlap and differ? This is, by the way, so funny. I use Disney movies. Choose a well-known fairy tale like Cinderella and outline how von France might interpret its archetypal themes. Alchemy and transformation. Summarize von France's view of alchemy as a symbolic system for individuation. How does the alchemical conjuncto relate to the psychological interpretation in von France's reading? Discuss one way alchemical imagery still resonates in modern psychology or culture. The feminine archetype. Explain how von France's ideas about the anima and feminine archetypes. How does von France's interpretation of the feminine complement or challenge Jung's original theory? Apply von France's perspective to a contemporary cultural figure or story. And we're going to continue with the top-down learning, and what that means is we're going to start out with learning short answers. So let's just get to it. I'm going to do this for a little bit longer, and let's see. Can you give me short answers to each of these 9 questions? After you have gotten short answers to all of the questions, you then start with longer, more advanced questions. And then you memorize it, all of it. So, here we go. Because fairy tales are less culturally filtered than myths, they present archetypal images in their simplest, most direct form. Unlike myths that often serve social or religious functions, fairy tales reveal raw psychic patterns. For von Franz, this makes them the clearest window into the collective unconscious. So, what do we sort of get from this? Then you sort of put it in your own words. Less culturally filtered than myths. It's more direct, it's more raw than myths. Fairy tales are more core, I guess. Compare von Franz's use of fairy tales with Jung's use of myths. Both these symbolic narratives, blah blah blah. Yeah, von Franz shifted to fairy tales because they lack conscious elaboration. Nice. More universal and less tied to specific societies. Cinderella reflects individuation through suffering and transformation. The evil stepmothers embody shadow and animosity. The fairy godmother, or helpful animals, reflect archetypal helpers from the unconscious. The prince symbolizes integration of feminine and masculine aspects into wholeness. Nice! Okay, so just remember individuation. This suffering and transformation is always they always go hand in hand with individuation. Then you have the evil stepmother and sisters. Of course, they represent shadow. Helpers are archetypal, and this is interesting as well. Let's move on. We have question number 4. Summarize von Franz's view of alchemy as individuation symbolism. Alchemy is not primitive chemistry, but a symbolic language of psychic transformation. The stages of alchemy, I'm not going to say that, mirror inner processes of death, purification, and renewal. And here's the thing. It's time to switch over and do double camera. Because we just continue to do this with every question, and then of course you can use ChatGPT to just ask me the questions without giving me the answers. And then you move on to the sort of more complex and advanced questions. And then when you go into lectures, you will have a deep, a sort of structure and an understanding of the subject. And then guess what? If there is something that differs in the lecture, because maybe ChatGPT has gotten something wrong, this will stand out to you and you can note it. That is all for me today. Thank you so much for 3,000 subscribers, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Let's see it. FAFEGCAMC, fairy tales, alchemy and transformation, feminine archetypes. E is evolution of consciousness, great mother, archetypes and culture. Archetypal psychology, myth, soul, individuation. C, critiques and legacy. Nice. That deserves a like and a subscription. Have a fantastic day, everyone, and I will see you tomorrow.